Hi friends, welcome back to my channel SciTech. In this one I'm going to talk about the default Call of Duty graphics settings comparison between the OnePlus 11R versus ROG Phone 6. So this is a ROG Phone 6 which has got the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 processor, and the OnePlus 11R also has got the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 processor. Now I'm going to show you the default Call of Duty graphics settings. So what is the highest graphics settings, what is the highest FPS you can actually play between these both phones, and that's what this video is about, where I'll try to compare between these two devices. And now let me to go to the graphic settings of these both phones, and you can clearly see both phones were able to play at ultra FPS, which is the maximum. As you can see, both phones, so ultra FPS only in the multiplayer they can play. But one thing is slightly better in the ROG Phone 6, because the phone can actually play at the highest graphics, I mean medium graphics, whereas the OnePlus 11R can only play at the low graphic quality. That's the one difference which is there. And right now you can see the medium, if I try to select, it's going back to the maximum. You cannot play like that. You can only play low and the multiplayer 90 FPS at same time, whereas in the ROG Phone 6 you can play with the low and you can play with the medium, but not with the high. This is a maximum you can play in the ROG Phone 6. So now we got to know about the information about the multiplayer gameplay, and now let me need to start the match, and I'll try to use the real-time FPS as well while demonstrating, so you guys can actually see what is the FPS going on. So what is the 90 FPS and which phone can play at 120 FPS. So that's what we'll try to compare between these both phones, and you can clearly see the OnePlus 11R can play at 90 FPS, the multiplayer. As you can see friends, multiplayer at 90 FPS, but whereas the ROG Phone 6 can play up to 120 FPS. As you can see, right now we're getting about 120 FPS at this moment, clearly. So that's the difference is there between these both phones. Even though the both phones are multiplayer with the highest graphic settings as possible, but in the ROG Phone 6 you can play at 120 FPS without any kind of issues. So that's something you should know about the multiplayer gameplay in this device. And right now let me just select the refresh rate to 90, 120, 165 Hz. I am selected the maximum refresh rate, and now I am getting about 120. So overall 120 will be the highest FPS overall you can play in this ROG Phone 6. As you can see friends, overall FPS is maintaining pretty good, not bad. As you can see, 120 FPS, which is playing really good. As you can see, overall, so 120 FPS can be possible in the ROG Phone 6, whereas the OnePlus 11R can only play at 90 FPS. This is a quick overall demonstration comparison regarding the FPS, what you can actually play. So right now, whereas the OnePlus 11R is getting about 90 FPS. Let me to keep the game side and let me to show you in the OnePlus 11R. As you can see, 90 FPS we are getting in the OnePlus 11R gameplay. So this is a quick look at the OnePlus 11R as well. So still is playing at 90 FPS with the multiplayer, whereas the ROG Phone 6 was able to play at 120 FPS without any kind of problem. So meanwhile, signing off friends, it's a quick demonstration on the OnePlus 11R device and the ROG Phone 6 regarding the default graphic settings comparison. So 120 FPS can be possible, whereas the normal battle royale game you can play at the 60 FPS. That's something you should know about the regarding graphic settings. So right now, as you can see, we're getting about 60 FPS in this battle royale game in the ROG Phone 6, and the OnePlus is also maintaining 60 FPS. So meanwhile, signing off friends, thank you for watching. Until next time, for more updates, and